share, Facebook, tweet, Pinterest, email. There have been sharp-edged concept cars and there have been rakish concept cars. But few have been as uncompromising in their devotion to two dimensions as the Citroen Karin. Unveiled at the 1980 Paris Motor Show, the Karin was penned by Citroen designer Trevor Fiora, and it featured a novel on two-seating layout. Meant purely as a design exercise, the Karin expanded upon several recent concepts that had also gone crazy with trapezoidal shapes, especially the Aston Martin Bulldog, with corners almost sharp enough to give showgoers paper cuts. Today, the Karin seems like a prop from a film centering on the violent daily lives of Drews, or a car-based testbed for the radar-evading geometry of the F-117. But the inspiration for this concept car came about in an interesting way. Citroën was headed into the 1980 Paris Motor Show without a production or a concept to show the public, a situation that flirted with getting bad press and scaring off shareholders. Fiora, who was a recent arrival at Citroën and who eventually took the spot of longtime Citroën designer Roberto Pron, led the effort that produced a small, pyramid-shaped coupe with an engine placed far in the front and a relatively compact and glass-laden greenhouse that led to a less rakish rear window. The interior was dominated by a tube-shaped steering column protruding far from the dash. The signature Citroën steering wheel that also featured actual telephone buttons. All of the controls were located around the steering column hub or on small pods at the 3 and 9 o'clock positions, a design reminiscent of the Maserati boomerang concept. When it came to exterior details, news reports of the time attempted to trace the headlights to the design of Citroën SM, though viewed through today's eyes they are essentially dictated by the shape of the hood, while the rear fascia and tail lights would probably remind most of today's viewers of the Lotus Esprit. Needless to say, the Karin did not immediately lead to a production car, even though Citroën may have looked back at the Karin when designing the XM sedan a few years later. In 1981, the automaker also created an MPV interpretation of this design dubbed the Citroën Xenia that actually made much more sense from a production point of view. Scaled up a little, it reminds us of what would become the Renault Espace. Was this pyramid shape the pinnacle of wedge design? The Aston Martin Bulldog, penned by Lagonde designer William Townes, once again using nothing but a ruler, that debuted a year prior with a similar wedge-like shape, was on track to actually go into limited production before Aston Martin reconsidered. The Karin could be described as being a little late to the party, kicked off by the likes of the Lancia Stratos Zero, the Lamborghini Bravo and Jaguar Ascot, even though Bertone remained fond of wedge shapes with flat surfaces for quite some time thereafter.